Ethan Carter wiped the grease from his hands and sighed. Another long day at the orbital spaceport, another ship to repair, and another paycheck barely enough to pay for the little apartment he rented in the outer colony of Titan III. Being a mechanic in a universe that stretched across hundreds of star systems was not easy. Most people thought humans were small players in the galaxy, and honestly, Ethan agreed. Most of the time. He was tired, but tonight, something unusual caught his eye. A notification blinked on the public auction terminal. A ship being sold as a non-functional alien relic, priced at an unbelievable $10. Ethan leaned closer. The description was brief. Model, unknown age, 5349 years old. Condition, appears non-functional. Previous owners, unknown. Notes, handle with care. May contain dormant systems. Ethan blinked. 5,349 years old. That was older than most civilizations he had read about. Most people would have ignored it, thinking it was junk. But something in him stirred. Curiosity, maybe. The kind that had led him to tinker with ancient starship engines and find secrets no one else could. Without thinking twice, he clicked, "Buy now." $10. Just $10. He couldn't believe his luck. A relic that could be a museum piece, or something far more. The next day, Ethan arrived at the auction warehouse on Titan III. It was a cold metal building that smelled of oil and recycled air. Inside, he found a ship unlike any he had ever seen. It floated silently in a docking bay, covered in dust and what looked like centuries of neglect. Its hull shimmered faintly, almost as if it were alive, but in a subtle, alien way. Ethan circled it, his heart pounding. "Well," he muttered, "let's see if you're really worth $10. The ship was about the size of a small freighter, but had no visible engines or cockpit like human designs. Instead, its surface was smooth and organic-looking, with strange geometric patterns etched across its hull. Ethan traced his fingers over them, and suddenly a soft hum echoed inside the bay. The lights on the ship flickered, forming a pattern he instinctively recognized as a communication signal. "Hello?" he whispered. A calm, deep voice answered, not from a speaker but in his mind. "I am Orion. You have awakened me." Ethan froze. What? What are you?" "I am a sentient starship built over 5 millennia ago. You are the first being to awaken me in centuries. You are curious, intelligent, daring. That makes you worthy." Ethan's mouth went dry. A talking ship? And a 5,000-year-old one at that? He felt both fear and excitement. "Worthy of what?" he asked. "Of understanding, of power, of knowledge. I can take you across the stars in ways humans cannot imagine." Ethan's mind raced. He had always dreamed of exploring the galaxy, of seeing things humans had never seen. But this was beyond anything he could have imagined. "Okay, show me," he said, trying to hide his shaking hands. Over the next few days, Ethan learned that Orion was far more than a ship. It had systems that defied human physics. Engines that could bend space, energy sources that could draw power from stars, and data archives that contained lost civilizations and technologies far beyond humanity. Ethan spent hours exploring the ship's interior. The corridors were luminous, walls shifting slightly as if they were alive. Alien symbols glowed softly, responding to his presence. He felt like he had stepped into a world where machines and life were one. "What do you want me to do?" Ethan asked one evening, floating in zero gravity inside Orion's main chamber. "Learn, discover, use your human creativity. That is your strength. I have power, yes, but it is your ingenuity that will make it effective." Ethan smiled. Humans were small, fragile creatures compared to alien species he had read about. But humans were clever. Humans could adapt, think outside the box. And apparently, Orion thought he had that spark. Word of Ethan's discovery spread quickly, but not through normal channels. Orion had ways to broadcast signals discreetly, allowing him to reach contacts in distant colonies. Soon, curious collectors, traders, and explorers began contacting him, offering strange items in exchange for a chance to see the alien ship. Ethan realized that he could trade knowledge and artifacts for resources, even without leaving Titan III. But this was just the beginning. One evening, Orion guided Ethan to a small hidden compartment deep inside the ship. Inside was a collection of devices, glowing faintly. "What are these?" Ethan asked. "These are the keys to forgotten technologies, weapons, energy sources, tools for exploration. You may use them wisely or ignore them, but they exist because they were meant to aid someone capable, someone like you." Ethan's hands shook. He picked up a small cube, and immediately holographic blueprints unfolded in the air. Schematics for engines that could travel faster than light. Devices that could extract minerals from asteroids in seconds. Energy cells that could power entire colonies. This is insane," he whispered. "Yes," Orion said, "and it is yours to learn." The galaxy outside Titan III was dangerous. Rumors of pirates, rival humans, and alien factions swirled constantly. But for the first time, Ethan felt hope. For years, humans had been small players in the galaxy. But with Orion, with this ancient knowledge, maybe humans could do more than survive. They could thrive. Ethan decided to test Orion's capabilities. With a few simple commands, the ship activated engines that no human had ever seen work. Light bent around the ship, stars stretched into streaks, and in seconds he was orbiting a distant, uncharted planet. Ethan laughed in disbelief. We actually did it! We're flying! Orion?" "Yes," the ship replied, "and this is only the beginning." Back on Titan III, Ethan began to explore human markets in secret. He used Orion's abilities to find rare minerals, lost alien artifacts, and ancient relics. His discoveries were incredible, and in just a few weeks, he began to accumulate wealth beyond imagination, all starting from a $10 purchase. But Ethan knew one thing: this kind of power would not go unnoticed forever. Orion had been quiet for centuries, and he suspected that whoever built it, or whoever had wanted it destroyed, would notice its reactivation soon. For now, though, Ethan allowed himself to dream. He thought of human colonies struggling under pirate attacks, alien overlords, and economic collapse. With Orion, he could help them, trade with them, and maybe even change humanity's place in the galaxy. He walked through the glowing corridors of the ship one last time before sleeping. Orion hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat. "Rest, Ethan. Tomorrow the galaxy awaits." And for the first time in his life, Ethan Carter felt like more than a human mechanic. He felt like a pioneer, a discoverer, someone who could change the course of history, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. Ethan Carter had never seen the galaxy like this. From the cockpit of Orion, the 5349-year-old alien ship, he watched stars stretch and swirl, nebulae glow in colors no human eye had ever imagined, and planets spin silently in their orbits. He could feel the ship respond to his thoughts, the corridors pulsing gently with a light that seemed alive. The ship was more than metal. It was an intelligent companion, and it trusted him. That trust was rare in the galaxy, and Ethan knew it. He had been given a gift few humans would ever see. "Ethan," Orion said one morning, its voice calm and deep, "you are ready to explore beyond the colonies. But remember, knowledge brings power, and power brings attention. Use it wisely." Ethan nodded. "I understand." Orion had already scanned nearby systems, detecting hidden ruins, lost technology, and abandoned alien stations. Ethan's first mission was simple: retrieve one of these relics. Nothing dangerous, or so he thought. The first site was an asteroid field surrounding a small, frozen planet. Scattered among the rocks were pieces of a long-forgotten civilization. Ancient towers, crumbling spacecraft, and mysterious energy cores glowed faintly beneath the ice. Ethan maneuvered Orion carefully. The ship could move through the dense asteroid field with ease, bending space around obstacles. For humans, this would have been impossible. "Watch your sensors," Orion warned. "These relics may contain dormant defenses." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Dormant defenses? Like traps?" "Precisely," the ship replied. As they approached the largest structure, a massive crystalline tower, Orion detected a field of energy surrounding it. Ethan frowned. He had studied ancient designs, but this one was different. The field pulsed in strange patterns, almost like it was alive. "Okay," Ethan said. "Let's see if we can bypass this edge carefully." The ship hummed, and a section of the energy field folded around them, creating a bubble that let Orion pass safely. Ethan felt a thrill of excitement. No human could have done this alone. But with Orion, they were unstoppable. Inside the tower, they found an energy core unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. It glowed with a warm, golden light and seemed to respond to his presence. "This core contains power that could supply an entire colony for decades," Orion explained. "And it will bond with you as its guardian. Use it wisely." Ethan smiled. "Looks like we just got richer." Word of Ethan's exploits traveled faster than he expected. Traders in distant colonies began offering him rare artifacts in exchange for information about lost alien technology. Pirates tried to follow him, hoping to steal his discoveries. Alien scavenger fleets appeared at the edges of explored space, curious about the ancient ship that moved faster than any known vessel. But Ethan had a secret. Orion could predict movement and danger, almost like it could see the future. Every time a pirate tried to ambush them, Ethan was ready. Every time a rival scavenger fleet tried to corner him, he found an escape route. Humans back in the colonies began to hear stories. A mechanic had found an ancient alien ship and was uncovering lost treasures across the galaxy. Some called him lucky, others called him insane. But Ethan knew the truth. Humans had the creativity and courage to do what aliens could not. "We are making progress," Orion said one day, as they landed on a trading station orbiting a gas giant. "But there are greater challenges ahead. Alien civilizations who built this ship may notice its activation. You must be ready." Ethan nodded. "I can handle that. Humans can handle anything." The first real test came sooner than expected. While exploring a distant system, Ethan detected a fleet of ships approaching fast. Orion analyzed the ships. They were ancient alien patrol vessels, sleek and powerful, built thousands of years ago. They were coming directly for him. "They know we are here," Orion warned. "They want the ship, or they want to destroy us." Ethan's heart raced. He had never faced an alien fleet before, but fear did not control him. He had Orion, he had his wits, and he had human ingenuity. "Let's give them a reason not to attack," Ethan said. Orion asked, "And what reason would that be?" "Let's show them what humans can do." Using Orion's abilities, Ethan bent space around their ship, creating illusions of dozens of identical vessels. The alien fleet fired, but each shot passed harmlessly through empty space. Ethan maneuvered carefully, turning their own weapons against them with strategic precision. After hours of cat-and-mouse tactics, the alien fleet realized they could not defeat him without heavy losses. They withdrew, leaving Ethan and Orion victorious. "Impressive," Orion said. "Your strategy was human, clever, unpredictable, and effective." Ethan smiled. "That's what we do. Humans survive even when the odds are against us." With the first threat behind him, Ethan's reputation grew. Colonies that had once ignored humans now sought him out. They offered him resources, trade routes, and alliances. Ethan began forming a network of allies. Humans, small alien factions, and even neutral traders wanted to be part of his success. Ethan also began building small fleets using ancient blueprints he discovered in the relics. Not large fleets, not yet, but smart fleets. Ships designed for speed, efficiency, and adaptability. Humans were never strong like some alien races, but they were clever, and cleverness, Ethan realized, could win wars. "The galaxy is a chessboard," Orion said one day, "and we are learning how to play." Ethan nodded, and humans are good at chess. But not everything was easy. One day, while exploring a remote star cluster, Ethan and Orion encountered an ancient station still guarded by automated defense drones. The drones were designed to eliminate intruders. "We need a plan," Ethan said. Orion replied, "I can neutralize the drones, but you must guide me." Ethan studied the patterns. The drones moved in predictable loops, but they were fast and lethal. Using a combination of Orion's energy manipulation and his own quick thinking, Ethan created false targets and diversions. He guided the ship through narrow corridors, avoiding laser grids, until they reached the station's control room. Inside, Ethan found a data core filled with knowledge, star charts, alien designs, and histories of civilizations lost for millennia. He realized that every challenge made him stronger, and every obstacle taught him more about the galaxy. "Knowledge is the true treasure," Orion said. "We are not just collecting artifacts. We are building power." Ethan agreed. "And humans are the ones who will use it wisely." Weeks turned into months. Ethan's journey through the stars became legendary. Colonies spoke of a mechanic who could find hidden relics, survive alien fleets, and outsmart ancient defenses. He began trading not just artifacts, but ideas, ways to improve colony technology, strategies to defend against pirate attacks, and knowledge that had been lost for centuries. Ethan started to see the galaxy differently. Humans were small, yes, but humans were resilient, creative, and courageous. Where alien civilizations relied on brute force or long tradition, humans relied on ingenuity, and that ingenuity was becoming a powerful force, amplified by Orion's ancient abilities. "We are ready for the next step," Orion said one day. "Soon humans will not just survive, they will lead." Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling a thrill of excitement. He knew it would not be easy. There were civilizations older, stronger, and more numerous than humans. They would notice his rise. They would try to stop him. But Ethan also knew something else. Humans could adapt. Humans could think, improvise, and endure. And with Orion by his side, he was no longer just a mechanic from Titan III. He was a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. That night, as Orion floated silently above a glowing gas giant, Ethan reflected on his journey. A ship that cost $10 had changed his life forever. He had traveled further than he had ever imagined, discovered treasures beyond human understanding, and survived challenges that would have defeated even the bravest alien warriors. "The galaxy is wide and full of mysteries," Ethan said softly, "but I think humans are ready." "Yes," Orion replied, "and you, Ethan Carter, are the one who will show them how." Ethan smiled. He knew the journey was only beginning. Ahead lay greater challenges, rival factions, and powerful civilizations that would test everything he had learned. But he also knew that humans had something few aliens could match: curiosity, courage, and creativity. And with that, Ethan Carter prepared to rise through the stars, to turn a humble mechanic's life into a story that would be remembered across the galaxy for millennia. Ethan Carter had grown into a figure of legend. Across countless star systems, whispers traveled from colony to colony. A human mechanic had awakened a 5,549-year-old alien ship, discovered lost technology, and outwitted fleets that had ruled their sectors for centuries. Yet for Ethan, the victories were not about fame. They were about human ingenuity. Orion, the ancient sentient ship, often reminded him that their work was bigger than wealth or glory. They were reshaping the galaxy, showing that humans, small, fragile, and underestimated, could rise above even the oldest civilizations. "The galaxy has noticed us," Orion said one day as Ethan studied a star map. "Some are curious, some are envious, and others are threatened." Ethan nodded. "Then we need to be ready. Humans don't back down." Their first step was to strengthen alliances. Ethan had gained friends in small colonies and among neutral alien traders. Now, he sought larger factions, groups that controlled vast regions of space but were open to negotiation. His approach was always the same: demonstrate human creativity, show what Orion could do, and offer mutually beneficial trade. The first major alliance came unexpectedly. A faction of alien merchants controlled trade routes in the Valon sector. They had ignored humans for centuries, considering them insignificant. But when Ethan demonstrated Orion's ability to locate hidden resource caches and protect convoys from pirate attacks, their leaders were astonished. "You have power," one of the merchants said, "but more important, you have intelligence." Ethan smiled. "Humans survive because we think, we adapt, and we protect those who work with us." By the end of the meeting, Ethan had secured his first major trade alliance. He could move resources, rare metals, and ancient relics across sectors faster than anyone else. This alliance not only increased his influence, but also allowed him to train other humans in using Orion's insights to explore, trade, and defend themselves. But with influence came jealousy. The galaxy's older civilizations had ruled for millennia, and they did not take lightly to a rising human. Reports reached Ethan of an alien coalition determined to seize Orion and destroy anyone associated with him. "They will come," Orion warned. "They have fleets larger and older than most human colonies. You must prepare." Ethan's mind raced. He was not the strongest in the galaxy, but strength alone was not his strategy. He relied on speed, strategy, and human ingenuity. "Then we fight smart," he said. "We don't match them ship for ship. We outthink them." Orion hummed in agreement. Together they devised plans that used the galaxy itself as an ally: gravitational anomalies, asteroid fields, and ancient alien technology hidden in distant systems. Ethan's tactics were unlike anything the coalition had ever seen. The first confrontation came near the Helion expanse. A fleet of alien cruisers, sleek and heavily armed, approached with the intention of capturing Orion. Ethan remained calm. He had prepared. "They are strong," Orion said, "but predictable. Follow my lead." Ethan activated the ship's cloaking energy, bending light around them. They appeared invisible as the alien fleet searched desperately. Then, using Orion's ability to manipulate gravitational fields, he created illusory fleets, phantoms that confused and divided the enemy. The coalition fired, but their shots were wasted. Ethan's strategy was simple yet brilliant: divide, confuse, and escape. Within hours, the alien fleet retreated, unable to pin down the elusive human ship. It was a small victory, but it proved one thing: humans could survive against the oldest powers in the galaxy, not through brute force, but through cleverness and adaptability. "You are learning," Orion said. "Your instincts, your decisions, they are uniquely human. That is our greatest weapon." Ethan nodded. "And the galaxy will notice." Next came the expansion of influence. Ethan began visiting human colonies, offering protection, trade, and education. He showed them how to build better ships, use relic technology, and defend themselves from pirates and hostile aliens. The colonies began to thrive. Humans who had been small and fearful now held diplomatic sway in their sectors. It was not just about strength, it was about showing value. Ethan taught that humans, small though they were, could be innovative, loyal, and courageous. Alien civilizations began to respect, not fear, the humans under Ethan's guidance. "You have changed the perception of humanity," Orion noted. "From prey to strategist, from tool to partner." Ethan smiled. "That's what we do. We adapt, survive, and grow." But not every challenge could be solved with strategy. One day, while exploring the remnants of a destroyed alien civilization, Ethan discovered a weapon system of unimaginable power. Ancient doomsday devices designed to control entire star systems were dormant, but fully functional. "This is dangerous," Orion said. "If it falls into the wrong hands, countless civilizations will suffer. Humans must decide how to use it." Ethan felt the weight of responsibility. He realized that leadership was not just about wealth or power. It was about ethics and wisdom. He activated a shield around the weapon, keeping it hidden and inaccessible until he could secure it safely. This was a lesson. True power requires restraint. Ethan understood that he could amass wealth and influence, but he must always use it to protect and uplift, not dominate. As months passed, Ethan's network of allies, colonies, and informed humans grew. He began training others in leadership, strategy, and exploration. Humans who had once lived in fear of the galaxy now became bold explorers, merchants, and defenders. They looked up to Ethan, not as a god, but as a leader who proved that humans could rise above their limitations. At the same time, alien factions learned to respect him. Some sought his guidance. Others, once adversaries, chose diplomacy over conflict. Ethan's reputation spread. He was not just a mechanic with an ancient ship, but a master strategist and visionary leader. "The galaxy is responding," Orion said one evening, its lights pulsing gently. "You are becoming more than a mechanic, Ethan. You are a force." Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of the future. "Then we must keep going. Humans have a place in this galaxy, and it is bigger than anyone ever imagined." But power also attracted envy. A coalition of older alien civilizations, once dismissive of humans, began plotting openly. They sent emissaries and fleets to test Ethan, to challenge his influence. These were not small fleets. They were massive ancient war machines, designed to crush opponents in hours. Ethan welcomed the challenge. He did not fear their power. He respected it. And he knew something the aliens often forgot. Humans were unpredictable. Where aliens relied on centuries of strategy and rules, humans could innovate in real time. "They think like machines," Ethan told Orion. "We think like humans. That difference is our advantage." The coalition sent a fleet to intercept a convoy under Ethan's protection. Using misdirection, Orion's predictive abilities, and human creativity, Ethan rerouted the convoy through uncharted wormholes, used decoy fleets, and even disguised the convoy as an asteroid cluster. When the alien fleet arrived, the convoy had vanished. Frustrated, the aliens withdrew. Ethan had won again, not by brute force, but by strategy and ingenuity. "Humans are more dangerous than they seem," one alien commander reported to their council. "They think differently. They do not fear." Ethan, unaware of the aliens' words, smiled quietly. Humans had always been underestimated, and that, he knew, was their greatest strength. By the end of Part 3, Ethan's influence was undeniable. Human colonies thrived under his guidance. Alien factions respected him. Pirate attacks became rare as intelligence networks informed colonies of impending threats. Ethan had learned to balance power with ethics, strategy with innovation, and influence with trust. He had transformed from a humble mechanic into a galactic strategist, showing the galaxy that humans, small, clever, and courageous, could rise to unimaginable heights. "The next step is clear," Orion said one evening. "The galaxy will offer wealth, leadership, and influence. You are ready to claim it." Ethan looked out at the stars, feeling the excitement of what lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, full of secrets, challenges, and opportunities, and humans, underestimated for centuries, were ready to take their place among the stars. "Then let's begin," Ethan said, determination burning in his eyes. "It's time humans showed the galaxy what we can do." Ethan Carter had come a long way. From a humble mechanic on Titan III, he had awakened a 5,449-year-old sentient ship, discovered lost alien technology, and outsmarted fleets older and stronger than humanity itself. But now he faced his greatest challenge, uniting the galaxy under a banner of progress, fairness, and innovation. Orion, the ancient ship, glowed softly around him, its corridors pulsing like a heartbeat. "Ethan," Orion said, "you have grown beyond the small human who purchased me for $10. The galaxy recognizes you now, but the next step requires vision, wisdom, and courage. Are you ready?" Ethan looked out at the stars. Every system he had visited, every colony he had helped, and every challenge he had overcome had led to this moment. "I'm ready," he said firmly. It's time humans took their place among the stars. The first move was diplomacy. Alien civilizations that had once dismissed humanity now approached cautiously, sending emissaries to meet him on neutral ground. Ethan welcomed them with honesty and practical intelligence. He did not rely on threats or intimidation. Instead, he offered trade, technology sharing, and protection for their interests, showing that humans could be partners, not pests. "I am not here to dominate," Ethan told the First Council of Alien Leaders. "I am here to build trust, share knowledge, and ensure that every civilization has a chance to thrive. Together, we are stronger." Many were skeptical. Aliens with millennia of history did not trust newcomers easily, but Ethan's reputation preceded him. Stories of his survival against ancient fleets, clever strategies, and fairness in trade made him credible. Slowly, the council began to listen. Orion whispered in his mind, "Humans are different. You speak with clarity and honesty. That is your power." Ethan nodded. "Then let's make them see it." While diplomacy progressed, Ethan also needed resources. With Orion's abilities, he located hidden caches of ancient alien technology and rare minerals in uncharted systems. These discoveries allowed him to build advanced ships, stations, and trade networks far beyond what human colonies had ever imagined. The galaxy began to recognize his influence. Colonies that were once vulnerable to pirates and starvation now flourished under his guidance. Human fleets, though small, were efficient, adaptable, and supported by Orion's insights. "We are becoming more than humans," Ethan said one day, "watching the colonies prosper. We are a force." "And the galaxy is taking notice," Orion replied. Not everyone accepted Ethan's rise. Some alien empires, threatened by his growing influence, tried open confrontation. One of the largest fleets in the sector advanced toward a cluster of human colonies, intending to take control. Ethan did not panic. He had learned to think ahead. "We will defend them, but strategically," he told Orion. Using Orion's predictive abilities and deep knowledge of gravitational fields, Ethan designed traps and diversions in the asteroid belts and near-dying stars. Alien fleets thought they were attacking lightly defended colonies, but Ethan's humans struck unexpectedly from multiple angles, using technology that the aliens had never seen. Within days, the attacking fleet was repelled. Suffering more losses than they had anticipated, their leaders were shocked. A human, a mechanic no less, had outsmarted one of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy. "Humans are remarkable," one alien admiral reported. "They fight not just with weapons, but with intelligence." Ethan allowed himself a small smile. Intelligence was the most human weapon of all. With both diplomacy and strategy established, Ethan began organizing a galactic council. Representatives from human colonies, neutral alien factions, and smaller civilizations were invited to participate. Ethan insisted on fairness. Every voice counted, even the smallest human colony. Power is not about fear, Ethan told the council. It is about cooperation, creativity, and protecting each other. That is how humans survive. That is how humans thrive. The council accepted his vision, impressed by his balance of courage, intelligence, and fairness. Slowly, humans and allies began to work together across sectors, forming the foundation of a new galactic order. Orion hummed approvingly. You have achieved what most civilizations could not in centuries. Humans are respected, humans are trusted, and soon humans will lead. As his influence grew, so did his wealth, not only in credits or rare artifacts, but in knowledge, loyalty, and innovation. Ethan's discoveries allowed entire colonies to flourish economically. Humans who had once struggled to survive could now trade across star systems, access advanced technology, and protect themselves from threats. Ethan realized that wealth was not just money. It was resources, knowledge, and the trust of others. And in that sense, he had become the richest figure in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through ingenuity, ethics, and leadership. Wealth is meaningless if it is not used wisely, Ethan said one evening to Orion. And humans, we must use it to make life better for everyone. You already do, Orion replied. That is why the galaxy respects you. However, Ethan's journey was not finished. A coalition of ancient alien civilizations, unwilling to accept a human at the top, planned a massive assault on human colonies and trade routes. They believed that humans, no matter how clever, could never hold power long term. Ethan prepared carefully. He called his allies, human and alien alike, and coordinated a defense that combined diplomacy, technology, and strategic genius. Orion helped him predict enemy movements, manipulate gravitational fields, and coordinate decoy fleets. Humans, trained and inspired by Ethan's leadership, executed plans with precision. When the coalition arrived, they found themselves caught in a web of strategy they could not predict. Fleets were divided, supplies cut off, and defensive positions strengthened by technology only Ethan and Orion could command. Within days, the coalition was forced to negotiate peace, recognizing that humans were no longer weak or unpredictable. They were a major power. Ethan addressed the leaders of the coalition. We did not fight to destroy you. We fought to show that humans and those willing to cooperate can build a galaxy where everyone thrives. Work with us, and together we can create stability and prosperity. Resist, and you will only waste time. The leaders, stunned by his intelligence and fairness, agreed. With conflict resolved, Ethan formally established himself as the wealthiest emperor of the galaxy, not through oppression, but through creativity, courage, and cooperation. He did not take power to rule with fear. Instead, he used it to protect colonies, foster innovation, and encourage exploration. Humans were no longer underestimated. They held diplomatic sway, economic influence, and military strategy across multiple sectors. Ethan, once a simple mechanic, had become the symbol of human potential. We have achieved something remarkable, Ethan said quietly to Orion. Indeed, Orion replied. A human who was small in the eyes of the galaxy has become a force that shapes its future, and the journey is only beginning. Ethan continued to explore, expand, and inspire. He encouraged young humans to dream beyond their limits, to study alien technology, and to believe that ingenuity and courage could surpass raw power. Alien civilizations, inspired by his approach, began sharing knowledge and cooperating like never before. Through wisdom and strategy, Ethan built a galaxy where humans thrived and were respected, proof that even the smallest beings could achieve greatness. Years later, As Ethan floated in the command chamber of Orion, looking out at a galaxy alive with light and motion, he reflected on how it had all begun. A $10 purchase, a spark of curiosity, and the courage to believe that a human mechanic could change the course of the stars. From $10 to this, he whispered. From $10 to the galaxy, Orion replied, its lights glowing warmly. And as he gazed at the stars, Ethan knew that humans would continue to rise, explore, and shape the future. Not because they were the strongest or the oldest or the most advanced, but because they were human, clever, courageous, and relentless. The galaxy had changed forever, and at its heart was a human who had dared to dream.